Sarah believed she had everything: a beautiful home, 2 children, and a husband, David, who everyone admired. To neighbors, they were the dream couple. Smiles at parties, laughter in the park, family pictures that could melt any heart. But perfection often hides the cracks, slow emotional tone. Late at night, while Sarah read bedtime stories to her kids, David was often busy with work. He smiled less at home, checked his phone more, and slowly, the warmth between them began to fade. One evening, Sarah noticed something strange. David came home late, shirt slightly wrinkled, smelling of perfume that wasn't hers. Sarah, soft, confused. David. What's that smell? David, defensive laugh. It's nothing, Sarah, just work. You're overthinking. Sarah wanted to believe him. After all, she loved him. She trusted him. But deep inside, a quiet fear started whispering. Days turned into weeks. David was distracted, missing dinners, glued to his phone. One night, while cleaning the living room, Sarah saw his phone light up. A message. The name was saved as Mike from work, but the words were not something a colleague would write. I miss you already. Can't wait to see you again. After the papers were signed, Sarah returned to the house, but it no longer felt like home. The laughter of the children was now mixed with their tears. The walls, once filled with love, now echoed with silence. Sarah sat in the kitchen, staring at the empty chair where David once ate dinner. She whispered to herself, "How do you explain to your children that their father chose someone else over us?" Her son, Ethan, only 10 years old, walked into the kitchen. Ethan, innocently. "Mom, is Dad coming back home?"
Sarah, holding back tears. "No, sweetheart."
"He won't, but remember, he will always love you." Children don't always understand betrayal, but they feel it deeply. The pain of broken families cuts the deepest in their little hearts. Her daughter, Emily, just 7, hugged her tightly. "Mom, we don't need him. We have you." Sarah broke down, holding her children close. Meanwhile, David sat alone in his apartment, surrounded by empty bottles, staring at his phone. He dialed Sarah's number, but she didn't pick up. David, broken voice. "Sarah, please. I made a mistake, but sometimes apologies come too late. The bridges we burn cannot always be rebuilt." Days turned into weeks. Sarah struggled, but she fought back. She found a job, balanced her kids' school, and held her head high. When betrayal shatters you, you have 2 choices: stay broken or rebuild yourself. Sarah chose to rebuild. Her friend Lisa visited one evening. Lisa, "Sarah, I know this hurts, but you're stronger than you think. Don't let his betrayal define you." Sarah, soft smile. "I won't. I have 2 reasons to keep going: my children." At the grocery store, Sarah overheard 2 women whispering. Judgment is easy, but no one truly knows the storm someone else is fighting. Sarah walked past them with dignity, refusing to let shame break her. David's affair didn't last. The woman he betrayed his family for soon left him. He returned to an empty apartment, realizing what he had lost. Cheating may feel like winning at first, but in the end, everyone loses, David whispered to himself, staring at old family photos. "I traded my family for nothing." Months later, Sarah stood at the park. Watching her kids play, for the first time, she smiled, not because everything was perfect, but because she had survived. Divorce did not break Sarah. Betrayal did not destroy her. She rose from the ashes, stronger, wiser, and braver. Sarah, closing words, sometimes losing someone you love is the only way to find yourself again. Final narration, emotional closing. This was the story of Sarah and David, a story of love, betrayal, and strength. A story that shows us trust, once broken, cannot always be repaired. But hearts, they can heal and they can rebuild. And in the end, Sarah didn't just survive her husband's betrayal, she became the hero of her own story. Sarah froze. Her world started shaking. Instead of confronting him, Sarah stayed silent. She started watching, noticing every detail. Receipts hidden in his wallet. Late-night calls outside the house. Excuses that didn't add up. Her heart wanted to believe it was nothing. But her mind knew better. One day, Sarah followed him. She watched as David's car stopped outside a restaurant. And there, He walked in hand with another woman, her heart shattered. Later that night, Sarah finally spoke. Sarah, voice trembling. "Who is she, David?" "Don't lie. I saw you." David, angry, defensive. "Sarah, you're imagining things." "She's just a friend." Sarah, crying. "Friends don't hold hands like lovers. Friends don't send messages saying I miss you. You betrayed me. You betrayed our family." The silence in that room was louder than any scream. The children standing by the stairs heard every word. Their innocent eyes now carried pain they did not deserve. David tried to explain, tried to twist the truth, but the damage was done. Trust, once broken, rarely heals. Sarah spent nights crying, asking herself why. Why wasn't she enough? Why did the man she loved choose lies over loyalty? Sometimes love doesn't end in one moment. It dies slowly. With every broken promise, every hidden message, every quiet tear. Sarah made her choice. For her kids. For her dignity. For her own heart. Courtroom scenes. The lawyers spoke, papers were signed, tears were shed. And just like that, years of love ended with ink on divorce papers. Sarah walked out, not as a wife anymore, but as a survivor. Stronger. Wiser. Free. Final words from Sarah. "I may have lost a husband, but I found myself, and that is something no betrayal can take away." On the surface, the Andersons looked like the perfect American family. A big house with a white fence, 2 kids playing in the yard, and a couple who seemed inseparable. But sometimes, behind the brightest smiles, the darkest secrets are hidden. Sarah. "Dinner's ready, honey." The kids are waiting. David, distracted on phone. "Yeah, I'll be right there." Just finishing an email. It wasn't just an email. It was a secret he carried every night. One evening, while folding laundry, Sarah noticed a faint lipstick mark on David's collar. Sarah, soft voice. "David, this isn't mine." David, forced laugh. "Come on, Sarah, I grabbed the wrong shirt at the dry cleaners." "You worry too much." The explanation was simple. Too simple. But Sarah's heart whispered. Something was wrong. Days passed. Sarah noticed his late-night showers, constant phone checking, sudden change of cologne. Trust is like glass. Once cracks appear, you can never look at it the same way again. Kids, whispering. "Why is Dad always gone?" Sarah, forcing a smile. "He's working hard for us." "Don't worry." But deep inside, she worried the most. One night, while cleaning the living room, Sarah saw his phone buzzing. The message preview read, "I had an amazing time with you." "Can't wait until tomorrow night," Sarah froze. Hands trembling, she opened the thread. Dozens of messages. Love notes. Photos. Sarah, whispering to herself, broken. How could you do this to me, David?" Sarah didn't confront him right away. Instead, she followed him. Rain poured down as she parked across from a fancy restaurant. David walked in. Not alone, but with another woman. Their laughter echoed louder than the storm outside. That night, Sarah's world collapsed in silence. The man she loved was a stranger now. Later at home, Sarah, voice breaking. "I saw you, David, with her." "No more lies." David, angry. "Sarah, stop it." "You're paranoid. She's just a friend." Sarah, shouting, crying. "Friends don't kiss each other. Friends don't spend nights in hotels." The kids appeared at the stairs, eyes wide, hearts breaking. That night, the house that once held laughter was filled with cries and silence. Sarah sat alone, staring at old wedding photos. Memories can be the sharpest knives. Every smile in those pictures now felt like a lie. David tried to apologize, begged for forgiveness, but Sarah knew. Forgiveness without trust is just another prison. Courtroom, lawyers arguing, papers on the table. Sarah's hands trembling as she signed. Narrator, slow, emotional. And just like that, years of marriage ended in a few strokes of ink. Not with a bang, but with quiet signatures that tore a family apart. David, softly, defeated. "I never thought it would end like this." Sarah, firm but broken. "Neither did I. But you made this choice, David, not me." Final scene. A new beginning. Sarah walked out of court, not as David's wife, but as a woman reborn.
She held her children close. Sarah, soft, hopeful. "We'll be okay."
We'll start over. Together. This was the story of Sarah and David, a story of betrayal, heartbreak, and courage. A reminder that love built on lies cannot survive. And sometimes, walking away is the bravest choice of all. Nights became Sarah's enemy. She would lie awake, staring at the ceiling, memories of David flooding her mind. The way he once held her hand. The way he whispered, "I love you." All poisoned now by lies, Sarah whispering to herself. Was any of it ever real? Or was it all just a performance? She clutched her pillow, tears soaking into it, trying not to wake her children. At school, Ethan's grades began to drop. Emily grew quieter, teacher in a meeting with Sarah. "Mrs. Anderson, Ethan is distracted. Emily doesn't talk much in class anymore." "I'm worried." Sarah, nodding, holding back tears. "They're going through a lot, but I promise I'll help them heal." When parents break, children carry the cracks. Divorce is never just between two people. It scars an entire family. One weekend, David showed up unannounced. The kids ran to him, confused but happy. "David, Sarah, please give me another chance. For the kids. For us." Sarah, cold, steady voice. "You had your chance, David, and you destroyed it. I won't let you break us again." Sarah sat alone one evening, looking through an old wedding album. Her mind drifted back to their wedding day. The vows, the promises David in flashback. "I will love you, Sarah, forever, through good and bad," narrator. But forever ended far too soon. And the man who promised to protect her became the one who hurt her most. Weeks later, Sarah started therapy with her children. Therapist. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel sad. What matters is, you are not broken. You are healing, Ethan. Will we ever be a family again? Sarah, gently holding his hand. We are a family, sweetheart. Just a different kind now. And that's okay. Healing is not forgetting. Healing is learning to live again, even when your heart carries scars. David scrolled through old family photos alone in his apartment. He reached for his phone but put it back down, knowing Sarah wouldn't answer. David, to himself, "I lost them, and I have no one to blame but me." Cheaters often realize the value of what they had, only after it's gone forever. Months later, Sarah walked her kids to school. She looked brighter, stronger. Neighbors who once whispered now greeted her with respect. Neighbor, "Sarah, you're amazing." "I don't know how you do it." Sarah, smiling. "One day at a time. Strength doesn't mean you never fall. It means you rise every single time you do." Closing narration, build for long ending. And so, Sarah's story reminds us, love can betray, trust can shatter, but life goes on. Divorce was not her end, it was her new beginning. She chose to walk away, not because she stopped loving, but because she started loving herself. In the end, the Anderson family was never the same. But Sarah proved that even after betrayal, there is hope, there is healing, and there is always a new tomorrow. The mornings felt different now. The coffee pot still brewed, the toast still popped, the kids still rushed to school. But the chair across the table stayed empty. And emptiness has its own voice, louder than noise, heavier than silence. Sarah poured 2 cups of coffee out of habit. Then, realizing David wasn't there anymore, she sighed and poured one down the sink. Sarah, to herself, broken smile. Old habits die hard. That night, as Sarah tucked Emily into bed, Emily, innocently, "Mom, why doesn't Daddy live with us anymore? Did I do something wrong?" Sarah, eyes filling with tears, holding Emily's hand. "No, baby. You did nothing wrong." Sometimes grown-ups make mistakes. Mistakes so big that they can't live together anymore. But listen to me, you are loved. You will always be loved. Children carry guilt for sins they never committed. And Sarah knew. Part of healing meant making sure her kids never blamed themselves. David sat on his couch, staring at the walls of his empty apartment. The laughter of his children echoed only in his memory now. He picked up his phone, looked at Sarah's number, and whispered, "Just one call. Please pick up." But he never pressed dial, because deep down he knew her silence was his answer. The punishment for betrayal isn't always anger. Sometimes it's being erased from the life you once owned. Weeks later, Sarah joined a local community center.
She volunteered for single mothers sharing her story. Lisa, her friend. Sarah, do you realize how many women you're inspiring?
You turned your pain into power, Sarah, gentle smile. If I survived, they can too. No one deserves to feel trapped in betrayal. Healing doesn't mean forgetting the storm, it means learning to dance in the rain. At a school event, Ethan played soccer while Sarah cheered from the sidelines. Emily ran around with her friends, laughing. For a moment, Sarah's heart filled with hope. Sarah, whispering to herself, "They're okay. We're going to be okay." Even broken families can find new ways to smile. Unknown to them, David stood at a distance, watching. He wanted to walk up, to hug his children, to apologize again, but guilt chained him down. Sometimes the greatest punishment for betrayal is to see the life you lost thriving without you. David wiped a tear, turned, and walked away. Late one night, Sarah found an envelope in her mailbox. No name, no stamp. Inside, a letter in David's handwriting. "Sarah, I know I don't deserve forgiveness. I broke us. I broke you. I broke our children. I live every day in regret, knowing I can never undo what I did. But please know, I never stopped loving you. I just didn't know how to love you the right way." David, Sarah read it, tears falling. She folded the letter and placed it in a drawer. Sarah, softly to herself, "Too late, David, too late." Months passed. The seasons changed. Sarah woke up one morning, looked at her kids, and realized she was no longer the broken woman she once was. Divorce did not end her story. It gave her a new one. Sarah was not just a survivor of betrayal. She was proof that broken hearts can still beat stronger than before. Sarah, final words. "I lost a husband, but I found myself, and that's a trait I'll live with." Closing narration, strong emotional ending. This was the case of Sarah and David. A story of love, betrayal, and healing. For every woman betrayed, for every child caught in the storm, and for every heart learning to beat again, remember this: trust, once broken, may never return. But hope always does.